Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's tutorial, you're going to learn how to cut out stamped images using your Brother ScanNCut CM350 or Scan and Cut 2. The stamp set we'll be using is called Boo to You by Stampin Up. It's from our 2019 holiday catalog. I'll explain how to get a catalog and a catalog sampler later on in this video because I want to just jump right into it and get started with this first mini monster. I've been using these monsters so much for Halloween treats that they're already inked up. So really, when you use a cling type of stamp, the rubber stamp, they don't actually stain like that. I just had ink on them already. So I'm inking up mini monster number 1, and I'm going to put them not too close to the corner because the top left corner of my scanner doesn't scan as well as the other spots. There's a little trick to that monster, which I will show you with a pencil. Monster number 2 is my favorite monster. We're going to put him onto the Whisper White cardstock. By the way, I'm using Memento black ink. I know a lot of you follow me on YouTube, so you know my materials, but I'll always have them in the description of the video as well. Memento black ink is good because I color with the blends, which are alcohol markers. Memento black ink doesn't smear when I use alcohol markers. It doesn't smear even when I use regular markers, but that's why I like to use it. And then there's my favorite monster, okay? He fits on my little coffins, is why he's my favorite. I'll be showing you my projects. And then this is my second favorite monster. This first little guy's not my favorite monster. He's my favorite. This is my second favorite. Brings me back to Halloween, trick-or-treating. I just love whimsical stamp sets, and I love how easy this particular stamp set is to cut out with your Scan and Cut. Now, just because I have so many projects to show you in this video, I am not going to stamp 2 or a whole page like I normally would. But just know, the way I roll is I stamp an entire page of these. When I say page, I mean 12 by 12 piece of Whisper White cardstock. I do that just for efficiency, and you'll see how many projects I made and why I do that. But just for this tutorial, I'm just stamping a couple mini monsters so you understand the difference between what you have to do sometimes, and I'm going to stamp a couple sentiments because I like to also address viewer questions. And one of the viewer questions I get a lot is, how do you cut out the sentiments? Well, truth be told, I usually use punches. I have a whole fleet of punches. Circle punches, shape punches, punches to make bookmarks with. But you can just use your Scan and Cut. I understand that many of you are not Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, and you can't get all of the materials I have. Maybe you can't afford all the materials. I get a big discount. So you might not have all those circle punches and all those other punches, but you can use your Scan and Cut to cut out these sentiments. We will do that in the second part of this tutorial. Just so you know what's coming up is at the end of my tutorials, I show loads of projects you can create using the techniques I'm showing you. So be sure to stick around for that. The beginning of my tutorials, I like to just jump right into the content. Okay, so this is what we're doing. Because this monster, and I'm going to show you on the case, the Boo to You case, this is a cling stamp set, meaning nice rubber with nice stickers. Notice this monster here. He doesn't have a fully enclosed area around his body. We need to use my pencil trick, which is taking a pencil and enclosing the gaps. You can't always see all the gaps. Sometimes there's a gap down here by his foot. So let me bring this a little closer. And I noticed that sometimes I didn't find all the gaps in my first try, but that's okay. We just do another try. So there's a gap near his foot. I don't see any more gaps except all around his head. So I'm taking a number 2 pencil. I get asked this all the time. What kind of pencil? A number 2 pencil. Oh no, you're using a special pencil. No, I'm not using a special pencil. Because people say they try this and it doesn't work. It always works. It works in 3 different machines that I've had for Brother Scan and Cut. When you enclose lines, the Scan and Cut will recognize it. Here's my pencil. If you want to go get them, they're from Staples, number 2 pencils. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what kind of number 2 pencil you used. I've used them all. It does not matter. All right, so what I like to do when my mats are not very sticky, which is like immediately after I start using them, and even after I start resticking them, I mean, they lose their stick so quickly. And I don't want them to slip while it's scanning. And I don't want to cover up those registration marks. You don't cover up those little numbers. But I like to use a little bit of painter's tape to hold this in place, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to open up my scanner and my Scan and Cut, and I'm going to show you every step of the way. So just starting with, I just lay it there. That's how I load it. I'm going to tilt my camera so you can see all the settings. No, let's see, no stopping the video this time is what I'm trying to say, because last time I made a big mistake. So let's just say, I'm going to move it right. I'm going to move the camera in view of the tripod. Let's put it that way. So nothing moves. My camera keeps on recording. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to load the mat using this button here. Okay, it's going to scan in the images. So we want to do scan. So you have your two choices are pattern and scan when you turn on your machine. We're scanning in. That's our option, because we're scanning in the stamped images. We're directly cutting them out. We're not saving the monsters. We're cutting the monsters. So you use direct cut. Next, it's asking you, where do you want to save them? You want to save them to your machine. You don't even see this is happening. It's a background type of thing. It's really like they're being saved in memory. Always use black and white recognition mode when you're cutting stamped images. That's where you change it, but I always leave it at black and white or grayscale. You never need to change it to color unless you're cutting pattern paper. Then you hit the start button and it scans in your images. And different parts of the mat recognize differently. So that's why I don't color first, because not every scanned image always cuts out, and not every part of the mat recognizes at the same accuracy. So every machine has a little personality of its own. You get to know your machine, and sometimes you know where to put things on your mat to make sure they scan correctly. So here we go. We have our little monsters. I'm going to say okay and see what happened. Pretty good, except this last monster for some reason didn't cut out all the way. And he was enclosed fully. So that leads me to believe that the reason he didn't cut out was because that part of the scanner could have been a little dirty. So let's just focus on these two monsters for now. Okay, we're going to go here and add an outline distance of 0.04. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So here's a bookmark I made. So here's, see the little white distance around the monster? That's what you're going for, 0.04. You want a little bit of white distance around them. You don't have to. I get asked this all the time. Do I have to add an outline distance? No. If you don't, you'll cut along the line. You'll just cut along the line. I like having an outline distance. It's more cute and whimsical. All right, and now I'm going to also say ignore object size, because I want to ignore that little object down there, whatever that is. Oh, it's part of my sentiment. So even though I thought I zoomed into the area, there's still some stray marks, so you can ignore object size. When you're all done ignoring object size and you get what you want to cut out, you just say cut and you say start. Now, because I'm using a CM350, I have to set my blade depth. Okay, so before I hit that start button, I need to tell you that, let's see. So I'm going to just start by twisting it all the way to 12. So whenever you set your blade depth, twist it all the way to 12 and then twist it back. When you're using Whisper White cardstock, a 4 should do you. Like, okay, so regular Whisper White. Now, if I was using thick Whisper White, I would have to use a 5 or 6, like with cardstock from Stampin' Up. But this is like regular sort of thin cardstock. So I use a 4. And by the way, when I use Designer Series paper, I use a 3. Okay, so for this tutorial, Whisper White using a 4. Then I hit start. And then it's going to cut out, and it's very noisy. So I'll step back for a moment. It's pretty fast, but it's kind of noisy. As compared to the SKX 125, another model that I use a lot in my tutorials. Technology. It would have cut out using auto blade. All right, so I'm happy. I'm going to say okay. Now, the reason I'm going to unload the mat, normally I would try again without unloading the mat, but I want to unload the mat because I need to put this monster in a different place so that he recognizes better. And I'm going to show you also how to peel these off the mat. You can use your little spatula. Let me get my little spatula. So you bend them out a little bit, right, and put your little spatula into there. And we'll erase them while the next monsters are cutting a little bit later. Okay, let's just... we'll erase it during the next cut. What we're gonna do next is this sentiment. But I want to talk about coloring for a moment, and just want to talk about something for a moment, like erasing and coloring. All right, so that's what you got. Okay. Now we're gonna fix this monster by doing this. So when you have this issue, you take your paper and you turn it, because different parts of the mat recognize differently. I shouldn't need to even use any pencil marks. He's fully enclosed. So the only reason he didn't recognize is because he was in a part of the scanner, a part of the mat, which wasn't recognizing. Maybe it's a little dirty. You can take off the bottom scanner plate and clean it a bit. I do that every once in a while. So all I'm doing is I'm turning my cardstock. This will give us a chance to now do the sentiment thing I was telling you about, and it'll give us a chance to recognize this mini monster. All right, so here we go. We are going to load the mat. And it didn't load the first time. That's just because of where I was. Whoops. It did load, but it loaded crooked, so I'm gonna just load it one more time. I need to put down all my tools. I had all my tools in my hands, and I wasn't giving it that little push like I normally do. And so when you have too many things in your hand, it doesn't always load properly. There you go. I just needed to kind of give it a little help. So now I'm going back to the home screen, and I'm gonna say scan, direct cut, right? Save to the machine, black and white recognition mode. That's all a review. I did it slower earlier. This part is a review. Okay, while it's cutting this time, I will talk about the coloring tools I used and everything. I have some other things to show you. But first, I'm determined to try to get this monster to cut out. But if he doesn't, I give up, because we have two monsters and we have the point. But sometimes I don't give up too easily. Let's see if it did it. We're gonna say okay. It did it this time. See? Changing the position of the object on the mat made my monster cut out. All right, so we can add an outline distance of 0.04. Okay, we can ignore small object size. And we'll get rid of everything on the mat that we don't want, including those sentiments. Okay, now we're gonna say okay, okay. Okay, and we're just gonna cut out the monster. Okay, now we're gonna cut out the monster. We'll do the sentiments in a little bit. Sometimes I just kind of notice I'm just giving the mat a rub. I don't want anything to move, that's why I give the mat a rub. All right, let's get rid of him. Let's take him off the mat so he's not confusing our sentiment lesson here. Okay, now we're gonna cut out the sentiments. Why didn't we cut them out? Why were we cutting out that? There's a reason. Because, let's say okay, and go back home. Here's why. If you notice, there's no place to add shapes, okay? You could do it here. You could add shapes like this. You could add circles, but that's not as accurate. That's adding shapes around your stamped image, or your scanned image. I don't like using that method. I personally prefer, what I'm gonna show you is something you have to go back to the home screen to get to, and it's using pattern. I can show you that other feature too about scanning in and putting shapes around your stamped images. I prefer to just know what I want ahead of time with the pattern. So the reason I didn't do it while we were cutting stamped images is because when you're using the scanning feature, you can't just add random patterns to your mat. But now I'm done scanning. I'm done. I will scan in a minute, but I'm done with my cutting out my stamped images. So let's just start at the beginning. Let's pretend we didn't even cut out stamped images. All you want to do is cut out sentiments. That's what this part of the lesson is. You have sentiments. Just a little creepy and boo to you. I've shown you before how to use your pencil trick, how to outline sentiments, and you could cut them out in shapes. We just did that when I was talking about the Elfie stamp set. It works with good cursive sentiments. But when you have sentiments like that, these kind, a little creepy and boo to you, you're better off putting them in a shape. So let's go to pattern. And let's go to shapes. I already know that circles fit. I already know that 1.25 fits good around the little creepy. I should be using my stylus so you don't miss it. So I'm just adding shapes. 1.25 circles. Okay, let's add 2 of those for the little creepy. We're gonna put those around the little creepy. I know that they will fit around the little creepy. Let's put them over wherever. It doesn't matter where you put them. Let's add 2 more that are 1 inch circles. I know 1 inch fits well around the little boo to you. Now, by the way, I would usually use punches. I have 1 inch punches. I'll show you my punches. And let's make 2 circles that are 1 inch. I have punches, and I also use my Scan and Cut sometimes for making circles. So here's our 1 inch circles. Put those over there. Here is the really cool trick about the Brother Scan and Cut. You can use this on either model, any model. It doesn't matter. I don't care where you are in the world. If you're watching this video, you can do this with your Scan and Cut. You have what's called a background scan feature. We're going to background scan in the sentiments. Okay, so I'll show you my punches and just review that I probably would just cut out the sentiments using my punches because it helps me get rid of my scrap paper. I have 1 inch circle punches, 1 1/4 inch circle punches, a whole fleet of them. But if you have a Scan and Cut, let's just use this really cool method I'm showing you called background scan. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my 1 1/4 inch circles and I'm placing them over a little creepy. Notice that, a little creepy, see? And I'm placing my 1 inch circles over boo to you. And then we can actually zoom in. I'm going to say, okay. Let's see where we zoom in. I know we can zoom in. Oh, here, back at the editing mode. Back in editing where it has the little shapes. I can zoom in. And you see how they weren't quite centered. I sort of centered them when I used the background scan. Background scan, by the way, is just scanning in whatever's on your mat. It's a really cool feature. I talk about this in my courses on Udemy all the time. Okay, not all the time. I mean, it's a couple lessons. If you want to go through every setting on your machine, take my courses. I mean, if you're one of those people that know all about what you're doing because you watch so many of my videos, or just you figured it out like me, self-taught, then go for it. No course needed. But if you want to know everything about settings and more examples and projects that I never repeat myself, I always have new projects in my courses that I don't have here. All right, I went into editing mode, okay? I centered these circles. See, I centered them. Now I'm ready to cut them. What I'm doing is I'm cutting out those 4 circles on the exact spot of the mat where they will cut out your sentiment. Okay, and then I can show you. Okay, so let's just unload the mat. And we'll get a little creepy. We'll get a boo to you, and I'll show you. Okay, so we have your sentiments cut out, but I want to show you something. So say you have, I'm just going to get a piece of granny apple green here. This is a color I've been using a lot in this project. I just want to show you with the boo to you. So say you have boo to you. You'd put a piece of granny apple, you'd put whatever your cardstock is into the Scan and Cut, and you just cut random 1 1/4 inch patterns. I'm using my punch because I'm just trying to illustrate an example, and because that's how I usually do it with my punches. But notice, if you cut your cardstock backings with 1 1/4 inch, or in this case, you would cut a cardstock backing with 1 1/2 inch, then you have what I'm about to show you in my projects. You have an outlined sentiment. Okay, so use background scan for cutting out your stamped images, or follow me here, folks. I hope I'm not losing you. Just cut out a bunch of blank circles with your Scan and Cut on your Whisper White cardstock. Stamp them later. Okay? I basically do everything in assembly line. I made all my sentiments. I stamped my images, then I colored them. Okay? That's what I do personally. All right, so I have to keep some color. I have a really weird white balance on my iPhone, so I'm keeping like this piece of paper in the view here just to help you when I show you my projects now. So then my color doesn't go way off. All right, so projects. So a lot of times I just go to Dollar Tree and I get things. I brought all the bags here to show you. So go to Dollar Tree and you can get all these cute little stickers. See? Let's see. Here's another pack. 18 stickers for $1. 18 packs of stickers. I don't even know what's in each little pack. Probably not much, but the box is cute in itself. Oh no, that's cute. A whole little row of stickers. Okay, so that's what's in each little box. So you take your little box of stickers and you put them in what I call the card envelopes. It's what I put my cards in. They're in the envelope section of our Stampin' Up store. So these are actually a card envelope. And then I can get into the whole measurements of toppers, but I'm not doing all that right now. Maybe I'll do another video if you want. If you want me to do a video on how to make these Halloween treats, like just how to put them together, I can do another video on that. But right now I want to show you what I've made with the stamped images that we've just cut out. Okay, so here's what I made. I want to talk about coloring, and I'll talk about that as I show you different projects. So anyway, these little eyeballs came from Dollar Tree. These little stickers, the little rings. I mean, you name it. This is a really cool Halloween treat that has no, what do you call it? No candy in it. This is a Halloween treat with no candy in it. It has stickers, eyeballs, here, rings. I have everything here to show you what I used. Here's some stickers, all from Dollar Tree. I went to 2 different Dollar Trees because the one Dollar Tree was already running out of stuff. Here's my eyeballs. This skeleton's from Hobby Lobby, by the way, not from Dollar Tree. But these eyeballs are from Dollar Tree. These cool eyeballs, and so are these cool rings. Look at these cool rings, these spider rings. Love, love, love. And then I just, little box I keep them in. Okay, so there's, oh, more stickers. Okay, so these are just Dollar Tree items. And I put the Boo to You sentiment, 1-inch circle, 1 1/4 inch, colored them all in. I'll talk about coloring in just a minute as I show you more examples. I have so many examples here. My table is like bursting. Like it's full. It's so full. All right, here's one of my viewers said, hey, give me an idea what to do with M&Ms. You can use 1-inch bags. Now these are not Stampin' Up bags, but I'll have a link to my bags, all the bags I use. Just 1-inch bags to put your M&Ms in. I saved the bag. I'm using these treats from, these are just the grocery store, and it's called, you see, Ghouls Mix. Okay, that's these really cool colors. I think it matched the Granny Apple Green pretty well. That's the background paper it's on, Granny Apple Green. I used Gorgeous Grape cardstock and Granny Apple Green cardstock. I didn't have Gorgeous Grape blends, but I had Highland Heather blends, and they worked really well for making green and purple monsters. And I put a little ring around them. These are just rings from the Dollar Tree that I put around my M&Ms. And they stay on there pretty well. Great craft fair item, by the way. Everybody loves these guys. All right, then I want to show you what I did from Cracker Barrel. I bought all these candies at Cracker Barrel. I want to tell you, these are really good. These two are very weird. These are sour. If you like sour, these pumpkins are really good. However, very weird. You're not expecting it. Let me show you the bag. Even though it says, okay, mellow cream. These work great. These are great. These cream pumpkins. These are okay, these gummies. Candy corn gummies. These are from, again, Cracker Barrel, but you can make many treats out of one bag. Maybe I could have made 4 treats out of this one bag. And then here's what I'm talking about, the sour jelly pumpkins. If you like sour, these are cool, but they're very weird. They're very weird. Let's just put it that way. But people like weird. I mean, look, you're giving them a monster treat, so it's weird. Again, just lots of coloring. And then creepy eyes. We sell creepy eyes. You can use any wiggle eyes you have that fit and match. But I like to get things that Stampin' Up comes out with because they already match. These are Gorgeous Grape eyes, Crushed Curry eyes, and Granny Apple Green eyes. And they came with some plain eyes. So there's a bunch of eyes in here. Let's see how many come in here. Assorted googly eyes. 100 come in here. So I like getting them, but I also use my own eyes. I mean, whatever you have. Just showing you those wiggle eyes and how cute they are. See how it's Crushed Curry wiggle eyes? And I'm using this paper. There's a Crushed Curry background and a Crushed Curry eye. And see how that ties in together. And it matches this. These papers are from the Monster Bash Designer Series paper. By the way. All right, more treats. I got these treats. These are just candy corn treats. Again, 3 of those. I made 3 of those. Granny Apple Green cardstock. Okay. Lots of monsters. See, he's cute, but I mean, look how much cuter he is. Wait till you see him on the coffin. Adorable. All right, so then those ones come. Here we go. They are called, these are a little piece of heaven, by the way. And you don't know how much candy I ate making these treats. S'mores candy corn, gone. Gone. Look, I only have like 4 bags filled, and it's gone. And that's not because of the, look, I didn't do this. I didn't decorate this one yet. That's because I ate so many. You could have probably made 8 of these with 1 bag. But I just went a little crazy with this s'mores candy corns. I know what you're saying. No wonder you have so much energy with all the candy you eat. No, I just love crafting that much, and I love sharing my craft, that It energizes me. Okay, next is Dollar Tree candy corn. These are a little stale compared to these. I'm just keeping it real. These are really good when you get them from the grocery store. I guess these just sat in a warehouse so long. They're kind of hard and stale. Not that they go bad because they're candy corns, right? So here's some more treats I made. I made them with candy corns. Because I got them from the Dollar Tree, I just stuffed a giant bag. These are 2-inch cellophane bags. Again, Stampin' Up doesn't sell them. We used to sell them. They stopped selling them, so now I get them from somewhere else, and I'll link to them. Okay, so there we go. I mean, I just get them from Amazon. It's not a mystery. I'll just link to where. I just mean I have to get them from somewhere else because I don't have them. So I love this little, the way I cut this Monster Bash Designer Series paper, the octopus came out right there in the jar. And I loved how he just kind of was next to the octopus. I just love that. Notice I put some of my monsters on wobble springs. Okay? I did that over here with these, if you notice. And I get my wobble springs, again, from Amazon. I get a lot of things from Amazon, so please use my links if you want to wobble your stamped images. Not too expensive, and the way they make it interact is really fun. And the wobbles, they hide behind there. Like, they almost fit. You just have to cut a little corner off. They almost fit in there. All right, so next is the pencil. Well, did I show you? No, I have coffin and I have pencil. I'm not sure where the pencil is, okay, but I did use, well, just check out my Facebook page and you get to see all my treats. But I did make some pencils from the Dollar Tree, and I made some cool toppers with those as well. All right, but my table is probably just buried. There's so many things to show you. All right, then I did bookmarks. And I used, if some of you keep your old stuff from Stampin' Up, then that's great because you'll be happy you kept it because we don't sell it anymore. But I love this thing. It is the Spooky Bat Punch, and I love this bat punch. And I punched out some bats in silver foil. There's no reason you can't cut out bats in silver foil or cut out bats in the Scan and Cut because we have bats built into the machine. But this one is my bookmark. And this is going to be part of like a sampler. So if you want to get a sampler of what's in the holiday catalog, I'm just going to show you my host code to use. So on my store, this is how to order Boo to Use stamp set or anything else. And if you use this host code by September 15th, you're going to get like these kinds of things. You're going to get a bookmark or a tag from the Boo to Use stamp set. And here's another one. And maybe it'll have a wobble on it, maybe not. I mean, who knows? And you're going to get samples from other things that I've made. Other sweets, which I'll show you in a minute. I just got to show you these coffins. There's so much more to show you, but like, I mean, really, you can't just stop making these. You could make cards. I mean, once you start making these monsters, you're not going to want to stop. They are super, super adorable. We sell these coffin boxes. They're called mini coffin boxes. And you just put them together. They come already pre-scored, pre-cut, and high quality black cardstock. The time it saves me, I mean, not that I can't make something like this with my machine. I would never, because I can buy them and just fold them together in 2 seconds, and Stampin' Up has already done the design, the scoring, the folding. I love saving time. So I love this monster because he fits on my coffin. And then in there are those things I got from Dollar Tree. Eyeball gummies. So you make sure if you're giving gum to someone, these are gum balls. Make sure you give those to adults, not kids. Little rings. A lot of stuff I give to adults. And little eyeballs. But this little skeleton, the reason I have the Mr. Bones out, Mr. Skeleton will fit in the coffins. In the mini coffin boxes. I also put those, oh, there's where my other candy corns went. I thought I ate them all. So there's some of my s'mores candy corns. I put them in there with a little eyeball. But Mr. Bones from Hobby Lobby, he'll fit in the coffin too. Because last week I showed a couple weeks ago, some coffins I decorated with the Monster Bash Designer Series paper. And Mr. Bones fit in the coffin. In fact, here he is. Here he is fitting in there. Okay, so I use that Monster Bash paper a lot now. All right, although there's more to show you, we are running low on time. So if you want to get the holiday sampler, you will definitely get, just by placing any order, whatever you can afford. I mean, maybe you can just afford the Boo to Use stamp set from our holiday catalog. I don't know how much it is, probably $20, $22, I don't know. You have to look on the website, Boo to You. I'll actually have it linked below. But if you just get like anything, you're going to get a holiday catalog and a sampler. And the sampler is going to include one of my snowman cards, one of my special snowman cards. that I hand stamped, hand colored from the Let It Snow suite. And it has 4 snowmen on it. So you're going to get a snowman card, and you're going to get a couple samples from other suites. Like you'll get maybe a sample like this, and you'll get maybe a sample from Elfie. Here's Elfie. I made some Elfie samples. You're going to get a holiday catalog sampler. And who knows what else? I mean, I have other samples from the holiday catalog. Just lots of things. So you know, it just depends on what I have ready and what kind of samples you'll get. But you'll get a few things with your catalog. So you won't just get a plain old catalog. You're going to get something alive that you can actually touch and go, wow, I can make that because I have a Scan and Cut. And it'll give you ways to use your machine. And if you don't have a Scan and Cut, this one I didn't even use a Scan and Cut. Well, I did for the panels, but I'm saying this I just hand stamped, and you don't even need a Scan and Cut at all. Now then, these ones I used a Scan and Cut, and these I used a Scan and Cut. But every stamp set I'm showing you on my YouTube channel can be cute just standalone. They don't need a Scan and Cut. It's just that when you have a Scan and Cut, you take your stamping projects to a whole new level. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is the Paper Chef, and I hope you go out and get the Boo to Use set because you'll have a lot of fun with it this holiday Halloween season. Bye for now.